We're here on an adversary hearing. Mr. Alvey's with us for the department. Casa is with us with Ms. Ledbetter. Mr. Nowak is with us representing the child. Mr. Adams is with us representing the mother, Ms. McLeod, who is with us. And I believe on the phone line, we have a phone line. Haley tells me that that's probably the jail for Mr. McLeod, who's incarcerated. I got another phone line. Let's get that person in and see who we're dealing with. I now have two people in the hearing on phone lines, one ending in 700, one ending in 926. If you would both unmute and tell me who you are, please. 926.
This is Mandy Rollison.
Sorry, who's 926?
That's Mandy Rollison with the family.
She's going to be one of my witnesses, or possibly be one of my witnesses, Your Honor.
All right. The 700 number is still not unmuted, so we're going to go ahead and go forward. So, Mr. Alvey, call your first.
Before I call any witnesses, is there any opportunity for me to talk with Mr. Nowak and Mr. Adams in a breakout room, please?
Okay.
Hey, Judge.
Yes.
This is Corporal Statzer from Finney County Jail. I have Christopher McLeod with me.
McLeod or McLeod?
Or McLeod, sorry.
Okay, and you are on the 700 number ending at 700?
Yes.
Okay, all right, good. Stay unmuted. Mr. McLeod, can you hear me?
Hold on, I'm going to hand him the phone.
Okay. Mr. McLeod, this is Judge Graham. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir, I can.
Okay, you're going to have to speak up so I can hear you.
Okay.
All right,
I can hear you.
Okay. I understand you're incarcerated. I didn't know that till this morning, but I need to admonish you, since you're incarcerated, you're presumed to be indigent, and so you are entitled to a court-appointed attorney. You understand that?
Yes, sir, I do.
Okay, if you get something to write on before I get through talking to you, we'll tell you who your court-appointed attorney is and a phone number. It'll be your responsibility to contact he or she. All right, then I need to also tell you that you have the right to ask that I continue or postpone this hearing until you've had time to talk to your lawyer, or you can tell me that you want to just. All right, can I finish before you interrupt me, please?
Oh, sorry.
Or you have the right to just say, let's go forward today with this hearing, and you'll still get your court-appointed lawyer. It's just we'll go forward with the adversary hearing today. Do you want to ask that I continue or postpone it, or are you ready to go forward today?
Let's postpone it.
Okay. Haley, check my math. It looks to me like we've got to have this, if my math's correct, by April 12th. Let's just double check my math first, because I'm not real good at math. And then, Haley, if you'll give us another date.
Okay.
That's
Judge.
probably the reason I'm a lawyer, not a doctor or scientist, because I'm bad at math and science.
We can do April 5th. Oh, no, that's when the status hearing is. We can do April 3rd.
Okay. All right, then. Haley, let's go ahead and let's check the wheels, see who his lawyer is, and let's give him a phone number.
It'll be Jay Michelson.
You said that's J. Michael?
Michelson, Michaelson. First name
No.
Jay.
Sorry, it's actually Michelsen.
Oh, okay. Apparently, I'm not very good at spelling either. And if you could, I don't think there's a problem giving Mr. Michelson's phone number to Mr. McLeod.
3261.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Okay,
Thank you,
Mr. McLeod, as I said, it'll be it's up to you to contact Mr. Michelson. He might try to call you, but it's up to you to contact him before next Wednesday to prepare for that hearing.
Okay. And you said that's next Wednesday?
Next Wednesday, April 3rd.
Two Wednesdays.
2 Wednesdays from now. It'll be by Zoom, just like today's hearing, Mr. McLeod. So your lawyer will probably do this for you, but you can go on the court's online docket, or he'll tell you what time on April 3rd we'll actually have that hearing.
Okay.
Okay. Well, I'm sorry to keep y'all waiting for nothing. We'll stand in recess on this case. I'll see y'all back.
I think is an agreement to allow the department to remain as temporary managing conservator and have possession of the child for the time being. She will work services. She has provided us with some names of potential placements, and if we have not already, we will start immediately trying to determine if those will be appropriate. In the meantime, Your Honor, because Mr. Michelson's client is incarcerated, I want to put a little bit of testimony on for Miss Rollison just to prove that we can't place the child there.
Sure. Okay. All right. So is that your first witness?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. Excuse me. Mandy Rollison.
All right.
Thank you. Miss Rollison, you're an FBS worker working for the Texas Department of Family and Protective Services.
Yes.
And Emberly is 5 years old.
Yes, she is.
And do you know where she's currently placed?
She is placed in a group home in foster care.
And that is in Amarillo.
Yes.
Her mother is Amy Lynn McLeod.
Yes.
And Amy had begun working some services with FBS, but there were still some issues that prevented the child being safe in her care.
Yes.
And has Amy provided you with the name of the father to Emberly?
Yes.
And who is that?
Christopher McLeod.
And has Amy explained where Christopher McLeod currently is?
He's incarcerated.
Okay. Do you know what state he's incarcerated in?
Kansas.
And do you know, is he in prison or in jail in Kansas?
Well, I know he just moved, and so prison.
Okay. If you don't know, it's okay. But from your research and from your conversations with Ms. McLeod, it's not something that Mr. McLeod is going to be able to immediately have access to Emberly at this time.
Correct. Yes.
And in fact, because of his current incarceration, it would be unsafe to give him possession of Emberly.
Correct.
And contrary to her general welfare.
Right.
Today, are you asking then that the court continue the department as temporary managing conservator and that you order that Ms. McLeod work services as she has agreed to, and that the court order that Mr. McLeod work services if he's released from prison during the time that we have possession of the child?
Yes.
You believe all that's in the child's best interest?
Yes.
Last witness, Your Honor.
All right. Thank you. Mr. Adams?
No witnesses, Your Honor.
All right. Any questions for Ms. Rollison?
Oh, I'm sorry. No questions, Your Honor.
Okay. Thank you. Mr. Michelson?
Just briefly, Ms. Rollison, have you had any contact with Chris McLeod?
I have not. I've sent him a letter, and we sent him the affidavit, but I have not received any feedback.
Okay. Pass the witness, Your Honor.
All right. Thank you. Mr. Nowak?
No questions, Judge. Thank you.
Uh-huh. All right. Then, Mr. Alba, anything further from the department?
Not at this time, Your Honor. We rest.
Thank you. Mr. Adams, anything further?
Nothing further, Your Honor. We are in agreement with the announcement that Mr. Alvey made to the court about the temporary managing conservatorship and Ms. McLeod working services.
Okay. All right. Mr. Michelson, anything to add?
No witnesses. We rest.
All right. Thank you. Mr. Nowak?
Other than a recommendation, Judge, I rest.
Okay. Your recommendation, please.
I spoke with the caseworker at the children's home, and Emberly is adjusted very well. She is rocking and rolling. She's in school, and there are no issues. My recommendation is continue placement there, and that the department have temporary managing conservatorship of the child.
All right. Thank you, sir. Ms. Ledbetter, does Costa have anything to add?
Nothing to add, Your Honor. We're in agreement with that.
All right. Thank you. Ms. Rollison, if you'd unmute again, please. Excuse me. Mr. Albee probably covered this, but would it be a continuing danger to the physical health and safety of Emberly to be returned to either parent today?
Yes.
And would it be contrary to her welfare to be returned to either parent?
Yes.
All right. Thank you, ma'am. Okay, then based on what I've heard today, then I will approve the agreement that was reached by Mr. McLeod and everyone. And then I will continue the department's temporary manager conservator and continue Emberly's current placement. We will have the next hearing, the status hearing in this case, on April 12th, 2024. That will be by Zoom like today's hearing, so parties and attorneys can go on the court's online docket a day or two in advance of April 12th to see exactly what time we'll have that hearing. Excuse me. Okay, we will stand in recess on this here on a status hearing. Mr. Alvey's with us for the department. Ms. Ledbetter is with us for CASA. Mr. Nowak is with us representing the child. Mr. Michelson is with us representing the father, Mr. McLeod, who I show is incarcerated in Kansas. And Mr. Adams is with us representing the mother, Miss McLeod, who is with us. That accounts for all the parties. I have Shay Grant and Valerie Sledge in the waiting room. All right, then. If we're ready to proceed, Mr. Alvey, you can proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. I would call Miss Shay Grant. Miss Grant, you're a St. Francis Ministries permanency specialist.
Yes.
In that capacity, today you're sitting in for Peyton Sim, who is also a St. Francis Ministries permanency specialist.
Correct.
And she is the permanency specialist. She's not present today, and you have taken upon yourself to be here in her behalf. Is that correct?
Yes.
All right. Have you had an opportunity to review Ms. Sims' court report?
Yes, I have.
All right. Are you familiar then with whether or not there has been a service plan that has been developed between Ms. Sim and Annie McLeod, the mother of the child in this case?
Yes, there has.
Does it look like that family plan of service that was developed was signed by Ms. McLeod?
Yes.
And as far as you know, that family plan of service is now on file with the court?
Yes.
And did you talk to Ms. Sim prior to coming to court today?
I did.
And did Ms. Sim inform you that this particular family plan of service was tailored towards Miss McLeod and her child, Embry?
Yes.
For the record, where is Embry currently located?
She's in Amarillo in a group home.
Okay. And is Miss McLeod still currently in Senecor?
I believe so, yes.
Today, are you asking that the court make the family plan of service an order of this court?
Yes.
Because Ms. McLeod has just completed this family plan of services and is in the process of rehabilitating from substance abuse issues at Senecor. Would you agree with me that it would be unsafe to return Embry home to Ms. McLeod at this time?
Yes.
And it would be contrary to Embry's general welfare to do so?
Yes.
Are you asking then that the court continue the department as temporary managing conservator and that we continue the placement of the child where she's at?
Yes.
Do you know if Amy has gotten to visit at least virtually with Embry, or is that something that's allowed through Senecor?
They have had visits.
Good. I'll pass with you, Sean.
All right. Ms. Grant, was there a service plan created for the father, Christopher McLeod?
Yes.
Okay. Has he signed it? Has he seen it?
No, he's incarcerated, and so Miss Sim hasn't been able to make contact yet.
Okay. But you'll get it to him, and at least he'll know in case there's anything that he can work on in the Kansas prison system.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Thank you. All right, then, Mr. Adams.
Thank you, Your Honor. Ms. Grant, has Ms. McLeod indicated or given any names of people that she would like to be reviewed for placement for Emberly?
I don't believe she has, no.
Okay. So there's no home studies or anything being done at this time that you
No,
know?
sir.
No further questions, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Michelson.
Thank you, Your Honor. The court's questions generally answered my questions. I do have one question for Ms. Shea. Do you know the location of Chris McLeod?
I believe it's in Kansas.
Yes, I mean, but the specific
Oh,
facility.
the facility. No, sir, I don't.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. Pass the witness.
All right, Mr. Nowak?
No questions, Judge. Thank you.
Ms. Grant, Emberly's 5 years old. I assume she's not on any kind of psychotropic medications.
No, she's not.
Is she current on all of her medical, dental, and so forth?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and I read in the report she's doing really well at the group home, settling in with no issues.
Yes.
Okay. All right then. All right, Mr. Alley, did you have anything further?
No, Your Honor, we rest.
All right, Mr. Adams, any witnesses?
I'd like to call Miss McLeod.
Okay. Ms. McLeod, if you'd unmute, please.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Adams.
Thank you, Your Honor. Miss McLeod, do you understand the family plan of service that's been put together?
I just received it the day before yesterday and haven't fully gone over it. But that is my goal today, I guess.
Okay. You understand that there's services that the department wants you to complete so that you can be reunited with your daughter?
Yes, sir.
Are you cooperative with the department at this time?
Yes, sir.
Are you in Senecor inpatient right now?
No, sir.
Outpatient?
I haven't signed up for any of that yet.
Oh, okay.
I just got the plan.
Okay. But you're willing to cooperate with the department and do everything you can to get your daughter back?
Yes, sir.
Do you work currently?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Where do you work?
At Allsup's.
And what hours do you generally work?
I work the overnight shift.
How many days a week?
5 days a week.
And you have transportation?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You have a house?
Yes, sir.
Okay, no further questions, Your Honor.
All right. So, Ms. McLeod, if there was testimony that you were currently in Senecor, that's incorrect. Is that what you're telling me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, do you have a plan to go to Senecor? Where did Senecor just pop out of nowhere?
Judge, that's probably my mistake, Judge. I may have confused this case with a different one, and I apologize. I was going to clear it up with Ms. McLeod myself, but okay, you're doing that now.
Okay. Well, Ms. McLeod, I haven't seen your service plan, but because of the drug issues, I'm sure they'll want you to do what's called an OSAR assessment. That's
Yes,
to see that's to see what kind of help you need for the drug issues. So, just so you know, this court, in a case like this, the most important thing to this court is that you get the help you need for the drug issues. So, just a word to the wise: get that OSAR assessment done early, and so that we can see what recommendations are made, because services, they're all good and they're all necessary, but the drug issue is the one issue we've got to deal with right off the bat. So just a word to the wise.
Yes, sir.
All right, Mr. Alley, did you have questions for Ms. McLeod?
Just a couple, Your Honor. And Ms. McLeod, I apologize. Sometimes all of my cases start running together, and in my mind, I already had you in a rehab, and I apologize for that. But you've had an opportunity to sit down with Miss Sim with St. Francis Ministries?
I did briefly.
Okay. And have you seen the family plan of service? You said you had it in your possession. Have you looked at it?
Yes, sir. I received the email the day before yesterday. And yes, I looked over it this morning.
And did you sign it?
As far as I'm aware, no, I haven't signed anything.
Okay. So if I told you that you were going to have to do an OSAR assessment, you're going to have to do some counseling, you're going to have to do some parenting classes, those are the things you're anticipating having to do, correct?
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
Okay. I'll pass the witness, Your Honor.
All right. Mr. Mike, questions?
No questions, Your Honor.
Mr. Nowak?
Judge, the court cleared up my Senate confusion, so no questions. Thank you.
Okay. All right. All right, then. Mr. Adams, did you have any other witnesses?
No, Your Honor, we rest.
Thank you. Mr. Michelson, any witnesses?
No witnesses. We rest.
Thank you. Mr. Nowak, witnesses?
No witnesses, Judge, rest.
All right. Then, Mr. Nowak, any recommendations?
Yes, sir. I had the chance to visit with this child, and I know it's cliche, but she is absolutely precious. I wrote down happy, beautiful, and peaceful, and that is both the child and the placement. All of her needs are being met. If they opened up a geriatric wing over there, I'd probably sign up and enroll myself. There's an issue with her tongue, which is being addressed, and there's an issue with her tonsils. They're a little bit enlarged, and she's having a sleep study on Monday, but placement is on top of everything, and my recommendation is maintain placement and maintain the current state's conservatorship. Thank you, Judge.
Okay, thank you, sir. All right. Ms. Ledbetter, does CASA have anything to add?
We're in agreement with Mr. Nowak. She is doing very well. We would just recommend she continue in that placement.
Okay. All right, then I will continue the Department as temporary managing conservator, continue Emberly's current placement. I'll order the services for the parents as contained in their service plans. We'll have our next hearing, the initial permanency hearing. That will be on August 23rd, 2024. That will be by Zoom like today's hearing, so parties and attorneys can go on the court's online docket a day or two in advance of August 23rd to see exactly what time we'll have that hearing. Ms. McLeod, if you could unmute again, please.
Yes, sir.
Okay, Ms. McLeod, they'll either Ms. Sims, I'm sure Ms. Grant will let Ms. Sims know what went on today. You can contact her or she will contact you, I would assume, to actually go over that plan, because if you have any questions, they can answer those questions for you. So it's better that going in, everybody's on the same page and you'll know what's expected of you, and they'll be sure they've explained that to you. So.
Okay.
Okay, and I need to admonish you. I hope you'll jump on these services, but I do have to tell you that the services that are contained in your service plan become a court order today. At a final hearing, if you haven't worked those services, your parental rights could be altered or terminated. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. Well, good luck to you on your service plan, and we will stand in recess on this case for those of you involved. We're here on a compliance hearing. Just a couple of minutes. Mr. Albie's with us for the department. Mr. Turner is with us representing the children. Mr. Pirtle is with us representing the father, Mr. Coe. Ms. Lucero is with us representing the mother, Ms. Coe. I don't see either parent with their lawyers, and they're not in the waiting room. Were y'all expecting your clients?
Your Honor, I believe that they were going to, well, Ms. Coe said that they would be here. So if you just keep a lookout for them, please.
Yeah, I think they're going to appear together.
Okay, I'll watch the waiting room. We'll go ahead and get started. We've got some more hearings after this one. So I have Amanda Henry in the waiting room. Thank you, Mr. Albie.
Ms. Henry, you are a FBS specialist working with the Texas Department of Family and Protective Services.
Yes, sir.
And have you been working services with the Coes under an order from the Texas Family First that allowed the children to remain in the home?
Yes, sir.
Have Mr. Rex Coe and Miss Natasha Coe been working the services they were ordered to work?
Yes, sir.
Have they completed any of the services at this time?
Yes. Rex has completed his psychological evaluation, and they have started counseling. They have not completed counseling, but they have started it.
Are there any services that they were ordered to work that they have not begun working on?
Natasha's first counseling appointment is on the 25th. There's some scheduling conflicts with the counselor in Natasha's work schedule. So she has actually not began the counseling yet, but it is scheduled for the 25th.
Part of the reasons for the Texas Family First program to begin work for this family was because of the conditions of the home. Have you noticed an improvement in the condition of the home during the time that they've been working services?
It has been a struggle, but I will say this last month it is getting better. We have 3 different workers going into the home, and so it has improved recently.
Is St. Francis Ministries providing any services in this home?
Yes, the St. Francis worker is also going into the home and providing the Texas Centered Families program.
And do you believe that Miss and Mr. Coe are taking advantage of those services?
Yes, I believe they are.
Are there any additional services in your relationship with the Coes that you think would benefit them that the court could order today?
No.
At this time, do you know exactly what stage in the TFF program the Coes would fall under?
I believe they're under phase 2. I know as of last week they are in phase 2. And I believe that's where they're still at.
With that in mind, and typically there's 4 phases. Is that your understanding?
Yes.
And with that in mind, you would ask the court to continue the TFF program in progress, and that we continue to provide services for the Coes at this time?
Yes.
The children, how are they doing?
They're doing fine. Yes. Kenneth had a few behavior issues at school, but the school contacted Rex and he set up an appointment and he had a parent teacher conference with the school, and it is getting better.
So would you agree with me that the children are continuing to be safe in the home as it's being monitored?
Yes.
Thank you. I'll pass the witness, Your Honor.
All right, thank you, Ms. Lucero.
Thank you, Your Honor. Ms. Henry, you stated the Coes are currently in phase 2. What is required for parents to move up to phase 3, then to phase 4? What is it the department looks for them to be able to move forward?
I would not be able to answer that question because that's actually the St. Francis worker. And so she would be able to explain each phase and how long they have to stay in each phase.
Okay. All right, then I'll pass the witness.
All right, Mr. Pearl.
Miss Henry, I've had trouble with the working phone number for Mr. Coe. Do you know if he has a working phone number or not?
Yes, he does.
Okay. Do you happen to have my email address?
Yes, I do.
If you would please forward that to me.
Yes. And I will say there are times when their phones are on and off, but I will send that to you. And Rex has a very hard time hearing. He's hard hearing when he's on the phone. So,
Okay,
but yes,
all
I will
right.
send that.
Thank you.
Yes.
I pass the witness.
Okay, Mr. Turner.
In the initial report, we already went over the conditions of the home, and you indicated that has improved somewhat, correct?
Yes, sir.
There's also indications from the school that Kenneth was hygiene problems, some health issues, things of that nature. How have there been improvements in hygiene at school and such as that?
Yes, I have checked with the school and there have been no new concerns as regarding his hygiene.
Okay, so rashes and things like that have cleared up?
Yes.
Is Rex currently working right now?
He is not.
Okay, and I think there are indications that he's dealing with some health issues?
Yes, he is.
Do those pose any obstacle to him caring for the children or helping to care for the children?
At this time, we do not feel like there's a safety concern for him to be able to care for the children.
If he's not working, I'm assuming the family's income is some sort of disability?
Yes.
Is it?
Natasha's working full part-time at 2 different jobs.
Okay. But so far that hasn't, to your knowledge, posed any significant difficulty in caring for the children?
No, they do struggle month to month, but they are working on getting Rex's disability filed. and Natasha is moving towards working one full-time job to help with our financial situation.
Okay, but it's still your testimony today that all those factors, financial and all that the children are still safe and that the home is still an appropriate place for them to be?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'll pass the witness, Your Honor.
All right. Mr. Alvey, any other witnesses?
No, Your Honor, we rest.
All right. Ms. Lucero, any witnesses?
No witnesses, Your Honor. I just wanted to clarify with Ms. Henry. Ms. Henry, is Wendy Hooks the worker that I would need to get in touch with to find out what the steps are to move into phase 3 and phase 4?
Yes. Yes, ma'am.
All right. That's all I have, Your Honor. No witnesses.
Okay. Mr. Pirtle, any witnesses?
No, Your Honor, rest.
Thank you. Mr. Turner, recommendations?
Your Honor, I would recommend that the parents still can continue to work services through the phases as recommended by the department and St. Francis.
Okay. All right then. Okay, then I will order the parents to continue working the services that were previously ordered. And Mr. Alley, do you want a compliance hearing?
Yes, sir. 30 to 45 days. I'm not sure where we're at.
Well, it looks to me like from looking at this, we'll have to either the very end of May or maybe the very first of June, we'd have to either have a final or we could extend it, of course. So I've got 2 dates. I've got April 19th and May 17th.
Let's do the May 17th date.
Okay, great. Okay, then I will set the next compliance hearing for May 17th, 2024. That will be by Zoom like today's hearing, so parties and attorneys can go on the court's online docket a day or two in advance to see what time we'll have that hearing. We're here on an adversary hearing. Conclude this hearing. Ms. Schulte is with us for the department. CASA, I think, is with us. I'm not sure. Oh, yeah, Ms. Olivas. Let me get her in. Ms. Grant is with us representing the children. The mother, Miss Pablo, and the alleged father, Mr. Ortiz, are not with us, and they are not in the waiting room. I do have Paula Mears, Amy Prater, and Samuel Meza in the waiting room.
Ooh, Samuel Meza is for our next hearing. The other two are St. Francis for this hearing.
Okay, all right, I'll get them in. This case was set for 10:30. It's 10:33. We will proceed in the mother and the alleged father's absence. I'll watch the waiting room for them, however. So, Ms. Schulte, you may proceed.
Okay. Judge, due to some of the issues involved in this case, I'd like